Today I'm just going to change oil on the 2016 Jeep Grand Cherokee. It's got a 5.7 Hemi in it. So in order to do this, if you want to do it yourself and unsure, if you look underneath this front end, there is a hole right here. And right up inside, I don't know if I can, there it is. There's the plug right there. Okay, there's the plug. Drain plug. And then if you look up here, you can kind of see right there is the oil filter. You can see the end of it right there. It's got the cup thing underneath it. That's the oil filter. So you can reach it with your hand. It's not that hard to do, but be prepared to wear a little bit of oil. So, and then every time I change oil, I rotate my tires. Every time. All-wheel drive cars, you probably should do X. So you should do this front one to that rear to this front, this rear to that front to that rear. That's how you want to. Most tire manufacturers recommend doing that X pattern in an all-wheel drive vehicle that have the same size tires. You can see I got a socket stuck on there. That is a 13 millimeter socket to do the drain plug. So I loosened it already. So here we go. Let that all drain out, and then I'll grab the oil filter. Okay, I just reached up there, grabbed the filter, and loosened it a little bit, and started letting some of that oil out that it's got in there. It's usually not pretty tight, so I am able to do it with my hands, but sometimes you may need a wrench of some sort to get up in there. But I've always used my hands. And I only hand tighten it too. So there we go. And as with every oil change, you want to make sure that you oil the gasket and the threads of the filter. You want to do that all the time. And then when you're up there, when you brought down the old filter, make sure the gasket's on it still. I've seen where gaskets have been stuck on the block and somebody didn't notice it and they go to put the other filter and now it's double gasket and it will not seal. So you got to make sure that the other filter has its gasket on it and it's not stuck on the block. But also to oil everything like that. And then before I move on, I put the filter on, hand tight. I tightened up the oil plug, 13 millimeter. And before I go on, I'm putting oil in it. One thing you don't want to do is like start getting sidetracked on checking everything else out and all this, and then you bring it down not thinking and you start it up. So I always come and add oil before. Oil says 520, that's exactly what I run. I run a high mileage 520 full synthetic, and I'm going to be putting it in. Kind of give you another little tip about oil changing. This is like a 5-quart jug. If you don't have a big funnel like that, have a smaller funnel, instead of pouring it this way, flip it over and pour it, kind of like this. So that way you can get over a lot farther before anything starts to come out, and then you can eventually do that. Just a little tip. That's all. Now I'm going to check the oil level. I've only put in 5 quarts, so I'm going to, it's hard to do this one-handed, but let's just wipe that off good. And then I'm going to stick it back down in there. all the way down. Hold it for a few seconds. Now remember, the engine hasn't been run yet, so, and the oil is just on the hash marks. That tells me that it can easily use a quart to get up to the top of the hash marks. It's not even on there really. So we're going to put another one in. So I added one more quart. And there it is. You can see it's right at the top of that hash mark. Now we got to start it because it's going to come back down a little bit. So I have 6 quarts in there right now. I started it up, let it run, and you can kind of see that or not. There you go. Nothing's on there. So come to find out, this actually probably takes just about 7 quarts oil. I couldn't remember exactly. I've done this a million times, but I put it in until it's on the full mark. That's what I do. So we'll put a little bit more in, and it should be good to go. So one more time, we'll check it. There you go. It's right there on the top, very top of that mark. That's where I want it. So it actually takes 6.9 quarts of oil, technically. Don't really want to overfill it. That's why you just kind of add some and chuck it, add some and chuck it. It's better to be safe than sorry and have to drain some out. So that's really all you have to do to change oil. I'll put the cap back on, and that's it.